Deconverted Man here, and welcome to Talking to Myself, the Watchmaker Redux argument, or as I called it way back when, the Avatar of Self. This is a video I made when I was a Christian, way back when the Infinite Hope channel existed. That channel no longer exists, but many of the videos from it still exist on my computer, so every now and then I like to look at them and facepalm myself on how bad and wrong I was about all the stuff that I said. Here's one of those videos. I fast forwarded through my own intro. You're welcome. The Avatar of Self. Avatars exist as an online representation of our real selves. Avatars can be pictures or words that may or may not give any clue to who our real self is. If we confined ourselves to this internet world and you wanted to know the real me, you would first have to get to know my avatar self, since that would be all that you could find out about me in this online world. We know that the internet is designed, and some understand very well the workings of a mind behind it, and how it came about, the history of it, etc. But no one argues that the internet is not designed by a mind. Yeah, go me doing a straw man already. Of course nobody would argue that. That's not the argument. So, yes, this is the watchmaker argument, but it's my past self's version of it. Trying to use the idea that deconverted man, or, well, in this case, infinite hope, is just a medium that I'm utilizing to communicate with you by. And the real me is the person behind the keyboard controlling everything. So the real me is the soul, and then the avatar is the body. So that linkage is going to be fuzzily made with the analogy that I'm about to give that's extraordinarily painful for me to listen to. So now you get to listen to it. Now, we infuse our internet selves with our real self, bringing it to life online in this created world. We breathe life into it by our written and vocal words. My avatar self, however, is quite unaware that he is really controlled by the reality self. He is stuck in this odd internet world. Now look, doing that to your computer is not going to help the situation, and if your computer screen's still that big, what the heck, man? Seriously. You also lost some keys there. Anyways, avatars don't have sentience. So this is where the analogy begins to unravel. But I'm kind of pretending that the avatars have sentience, even though they don't. Let's just ignore that part and pretend like the analogy still works, and let my past self continue. However, the avatar of self knows that he's not totally in charge. He's limited in what he can do within the rules of the internet realm, and other avatar selves are also somewhat limited in what they can do because of the limitations of the internet realm. They are able to express free will because of our real selves that infuse them with free will. Now, let me talk about our real selves. What is it about my real self stuck in this real reality that is very different from this avatar self and this internet reality? There's huge differences between the internet self and the real self, and what we can do online or in video games and what we can do in real life. There's constraints on both, yes, but that's pretty much where the similarities end. You can do things online and in video games that you could not or would not do in real life because of the social consequences and or physical consequences of attempting to do those things. And things done in Grand Theft Auto 5 are not things you could
do in real life and survive. I mean, I've seen video after video of people getting hit by cars and just standing right back up like nothing happened. And you get hit by a car, you're going to the hospital. But it's a video game. You're meant to have fun with it. You're meant to be able to do things in it that you can't do in real life, and the analogy is very weak. But my past self is not done with the analogy, so we have to continue to listen to me from before, not the me now of the.
Well, I too am not able to do things based upon physical laws and restrictions, so my free will is somewhat limited in respect. But where is this real me behind the keyboard of this reality? Indeed, I can look at this reality as if it was an internet of sorts. If indeed this is true, then my body is but an avatar of self as well. Then my true self, a self that my body self is barely aware of, is really in charge. When I say things like, I tell my mind to tell my body, who is this me? It's not physical in nature at all.
I hate this.
Oh, poor past self. Duality is not a easy concept to understand in philosophy, and way back when I didn't even know the word duality. But here I was fiddling with this concept of duality, trying to grasp at straws and making an assertion that the real me isn't physical at all. How do I know that? If there's no proof of that, how do I know that? There's no way for me to know that. I'm guessing. Now, what we do know about the consciousness is small, true, but we haven't found any link between the brain and consciousness and something more than that. If you damage the brain, you damage consciousness. You damage the personality, the memories. You mess about with the brain, you change that person in some fundamental way. Whether it be some physical change, like lobotomy, or some chemical change with different drugs, you can literally make somebody different by messing about enough with their brain. So if there's an intangible quantity of self that we can't see and measure, that's interesting, but how could I know that's true? All I can know is what I can observe. If I poke you in the head just so, and it punctures your brain just so, that makes you giggle. Okay, well, that's a fact. I now know, and I can write that down. If we poke that part of your brain, you're going to giggle. Alright, and we keep poking it, and well, I guess we broke it because you stopped giggling. Alright, now you can't giggle ever again. Well, that must have been the center that allows you to giggle. That's all we can conclude. There's no point at which we can add, and therefore there must be some sort of eternal aspect of this person that it can't communicate with its brain to tell him to giggle anymore. One of the analogies I stumbled across as Infinite Hope was that your brain was like a receiver, and so there's a radio station broadcasting, and if you damage the receiver, then you can't receive the signals correctly. Well, we would be able to detect the signals, and we don't detect anything. So that analogy fails. When it comes to ideas of the soul or spirit, all we have are analogies. If there is such a thing, we have yet to find evidence for it. And therefore, all we can do is be skeptical about it. It might exist, but to assert that it exists without an argument is a formal fallacy. Shame on you, me, from the past for doing that, don't do that in the future. Which you won't, because you'll learn logic in the future, and then you'll be me. And then you'll make this video, and then you'll talk to me in the past. So, yes.
Now, my online self might describe to me that he's made up of pixels and points of life, but that does not give him a sufficient condition to have thought at all. The virtual world that we have made reflects, in some ways, our real reality. In this real reality, my brain is a tool that allows me to have thought, but is my brain in charge of me, or am I in charge of it?
You are your brain. You're your brain. You are brain of. You equal brain. The question you have asked is a false dichotomy. Shame on you for doing that. Don't do that in the... No, I'm not going to do the same joke twice. Anyways, you are brain. So stop asking if who is in charge. Brain is. Brain is you. Brain. Brain. I think I've lost my brain.
And when I say me, who am I talking about? Perhaps then I'm referring to the real me that's in charge of this avatar of self-body. Some call this a soul or spirit or even ghost. This real self that is invisible in this reality that is the true me. So then, who designed this reality?
I hate everything that I just said right there. Every bit of it. I hate it. It's so full of fallacies. I can't count them all. And just no. Just no to my past self. No. You're wrong. Just no. I don't even... You know what? There's your homework, everyone. Just tell my past self how wrong he was. There you go. I don't even need to do it. Why should I do it? I know I'm making the video, but why should I go to the effort of explaining why I'm wrong? I know that's the whole point of this video, but screw it. I don't want to do it. I'm so wrong. I can't take it anymore.
I know that my avatar self is in a designed reality. Could it be that my real self is in a designed reality?
It could be, but we have no proof that it is. So why assume that it is?
If so, this is nothing more than pure speculation.
Yes, my past self got it right. Okay, past self, stop the video right now. That's just mere speculation. That's it. End the video. End the video. I'm not going to end the video, am I? No, I'm not. No, past self, no!
But what if the creator of the internet decided to come online and tell us about himself? Well, he would have to do this with an avatar. We, the online avatars, would only know about him through his internet avatar.
Well, technically, there was multiple people who helped get the internet started and going and created it. It was more of a group effort. But no, those of them that are still alive wouldn't have to come online to say, hey, we did the internet. They could just get on television and the radio and do it that way. Or I guess they could do it online too, but most of them are probably dead by now. So I'm not sure if any of the people that did the internets are still around. Except for Al Gore, but he's too busy talking about... Actually, I haven't heard from Al Gore in a while. Has anyone seen Al Gore? I think Al Gore is missing. Everyone, quick! Look for Al Gore. If you find him, let me know where he is, because I need him to do this video and talk about how he made the internets. What do you mean that that's a meme? He didn't really make the internets? Oh, bleep me. Well, I don't know. But anyways, but no, the people that made the internet, which is a lot of different people, don't have to use the... screw it.
Perhaps he could change the rules of the internet to show his mastery of the program, and the avatars of self may question or want more proof. Perhaps we would debate greatly over this person who claims to be the creator, because why would he bother to tell us that he made the internet or the reality of what the internet is at all?
You're begging the question there, past self. So begging that question. You're like, come on, why would he bother to do it? It's a loaded question of because he doesn't have any reason. He has no motive to do that. So we have all these questions because like we don't believe him because we require evidence and proof and other things of that I like, like logic and stuff. But we don't have that for the other thing that you're talking about, past self. We would have it for the people that made the internet, but just to go along with the analogy, it could be a very powerful hacker who hacks in and messes with the net and pretends like he or she has mastery over the net and made the internet and joins our Skype calls and joins our Google Plus Hangouts, and we can't get rid of them. And we're like, and then they make us turn on and off our cameras and stuff, and we're like, they must have been the one that made all this happen. No, they just know a lot. We don't know anything more than that. But I'm not done making the analogy fail more. So continue making the analogy fail more, past self of. And then in the future, when you make this video, you're going to get really irritated at you. So I hope you're happy.
In our real reality, so too am I faced with the notion that perhaps the creator of this reality has sent to us an avatar of self, username Jesus.
And now it's time for Deconverted Man Loses It! I have a giant pencil with no eraser. How can I possibly sharpen it? I don't even know. It won't fit up my nose because it is too big. I can't put it on my ear. It just falls off, oh dear. What the bleep am I supposed to do with this giant pencil? Maybe I'll shove it up my rear. That kind of felt good, but it also felt bad. So here's a lesson to be had. Don't go shoving up giant pencils in your rear, or they might get stuck up there, my dear.
And now, back to the video!
To inform us about the real reality and try to explain it in terms we might understand. Our body avatar selves being limited might only grasp a bit of this real reality that this avatar of the creator is talking about. And maybe the only way for us to understand is to listen. So, this avatar of self that you are and I are in this reality can best know the creator of this reality through an avatar of self who came telling us that this reality too is a created reality and that he knows the rules of the real reality.
Allow me to try to be consistent within my past self's narrative here. That avatar of self showed up some 2,000 plus years ago. Records of it were changed and manipulated and then destroyed and then passed through internet messages that also were subsequently destroyed. And then finally somebody came along and wrote down some of it in at least one particular Word document that got heavily edited later on by several different people, and now no one can agree upon what it says. And that's the only way that we could know of the avatar of self staying within the horrible analogy that I've constructed. Yeah. Okay. Back to the video, I guess.
And that the only way for us to know for sure that this real reality exists would be to believe that he was telling the truth. Until next time, this is the Avatar of Self, Infinite Hope, saying peace out.
And there you have it. The watchmaker argument. Redone into some sort of whatever it was. Okay, so yeah, everything I said back then was wrong in every conceivable way that it could be. Is it an argument? No, it's not an argument. What is it? I don't know. It's an analogy. It's a very poor, weak, broken analogy, as is the original watchmaker argument. But these arguments aren't intended for the skeptical audience, anyways. They're fluffy, they're happy, they're soft, they're convincing stories, compelling stories. How did this lake come to be? Well, this giant leaf fell down and made this giant impression in the ground that slowly filled up with water. Oh, that's interesting. Where's that giant leaf now? You're not supposed to ask that question. You're supposed to enjoy the story that that's how the lake got there. And that's what storytelling is about. Is enjoying the narrative while it lasts, but when the movie's over, we don't go home and think that that movie is real. When we're stopped at the end of a book, unless it's a book about history or reality, we don't think that that book really happened. If I read a sci-fi book, I don't think that those things are true. But when we tell stories about reality that tug at the emotional heartstrings and tell each other that, well, the me that is me is hidden behind me. You can't see the real me. It's this invisible me. And I know all this because another different avatar came and told us all how things work. And isn't that a wonderful story? Isn't it great to know all of these things? Doesn't that feel good? And it might. But screw emotions. I want logic, empirical evidence, and or a repeatable test. And unless and until I have those, I'm going to continue to be skeptical of my past self, and so should you. I used to say peace out all the time at the end of videos. Now I say the thing that I just said sometimes at the end of videos. But then on some videos, I don't end that way. And then I start rambling like I'm doing right now because I lost all coherency and forgot how to end the video. I should have just ended it there, but I didn't. So now you're listening to me complain about the fact that I didn't end the video there, and then